Hello everyone and welcome back to another book review. Today I am going to be reviewing Weird Medieval Guys, How to Live, Laugh, Love, and Die in Dark Times, and this is by Olivia M. Swarthout. So this book is primarily a collection of medieval manuscript illustrations or illuminations that describe life in medieval times. So it is primarily art focused with very little text. It is divided into two parts. One that is life, love, death, so kind of the cycle of life, and the second part being the beastiary. I think primarily because there's a lot of interesting pictures and things to cover from bestiaries, so that is why that is the second part of the book. It's not a massive book, but with the amount of art on each page, you can get through quite a lot. So there is quite a bit of art, and the art really does take center stage. As mentioned, this is a book that uses manuscript art to illustrate day-to-day life in the Middle Ages. From the back, it says a guide to living in dark times from people who really did. So the author's trying to use the voice, per se, of medieval people as portrayed through their art to talk about how their day-to-day life would have gone. Bursting with wisdom and artwork from the Middle Ages, this handy guide will give you time-tested solutions for all of life's biggest problems. Whether it's choosing an appropriate dog name like Garlic or Filth, becoming an irresistible suitor even though you can't joust, surviving encounters with rabbits and dragons, or coming to terms with your inevitable demise, this book is full of illuminating advice that is sure to brighten up the darkest of times. So it is very high level. It's not by any stretch a very academic text, but I think it does provide the right level of information and fun to draw someone in who might not have an interest in the subject. I primarily got this book out because I like medieval manuscript art, so this was a chance to see more of that in a book. That was the primary goal. I didn't actually expect to learn a whole lot about medieval life through this book, but there were interesting anecdotes and notes, and the author presented the information in a rather fun way. The author started by explaining why she chose medieval art, and I'm just going to read directly from the author here instead of trying to paraphrase it. It says, "Though smaller and simpler than the paintings of famous masters, manuscript art often feels more personal, like an unfiltered look into the medieval mind. A Rembrandt painting inspires awe, but a hastily sketched 13th century drawing of a person punching a giant bat lets you share a laugh with a person from 700 years ago. For just a moment, that person feels real." And many of these artists of these manuscripts are unknown. We don't know who illustrated them. We don't know who drew in the margins. We don't know who provided the art in the manuscript. But by having these shared moments of connection, we can see kind of how their life is like, and also share things that are common across the human experience. So that is the purpose of this book. It is quite humorous, and there's many interactive parts of the book. So you'll have sections like your patron saint, and then go through some of the patron saints, always paired with medieval art. I liked Drogo, patron saint of ugly people and shepherds. So we have that guy there. Where will you live? So little quizzes to kind of test yourself. Very interactive. Anatomy of Constantinople with maps. So as we can see, again, it's not really heavy on the history or the text. It just provides some background and an opportunity to show off some of the medieval texts. Some of my favorite include these flow charts that you can do. The one I'm going to show you is on page 69 and 70, which is, can you get a divorce? If you're a woman, the answer is basically no. But this was a fun flow chart, which just kind of is an interactive way to introduce a reader who might not be very interested in history in thinking about medieval rules or society in a way that doesn't feel as intimidating as maybe walls of text like another sort of book would. So for example, I have this book here for later in this book review. This sort of book, I will probably find this book interesting, but it's not appealing to someone who maybe doesn't have a lot of interest in history. Well, a book like Weird Medieval Guys is a little bit more appealing. It is very informative, definitely in like a popular sense, or appealing to people with maybe not as much history or interest in history. But I don't mean that in a derogatory way. It's like, well, this isn't a serious textbook. By all means, if you're looking for something that treats medieval manuscript art more seriously, this might not be the book for you. But I appreciate that there are books available for a wide range of interest and skill and ability, and also just because you like to treat topics more seriously. Like, I do enjoy reading a more serious text on medieval manuscript art. Like I read one, Image on the Edge, which was a little bit more academic. That doesn't also mean I can't enjoy a book like this or take value from a book like this. And again, the art showcased in here is fantastic. And some of the more academic texts I feel like steer away from using pictures or actually showing the art, which is a shame because they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and I do find that to be quite true. The art is really the show here. I was able to fill in gaps from what I have read from other books, but I think if you don't have any background, you would definitely be able to enjoy this. I just wanted to show off a very few small number of pictures that I really liked, or pieces of art that I liked. First of all, you have to check out these inside covers. This is Hieronymus Bosch. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. He is one of my favorite artists, and I probably spent 10 minutes after reading the book looking through here like these back pages, looking at everything going on. This is the library barcode or like RFID chip or whatever, so you can just ignore that. But this is also in the inside cover and the back cover, so I like that they did that. These pieces of art here actually reminded me of a Japanese print artist from, I think, the 1800s. Kawanabe Kyosai was his name, and he did like these similar skeleton, Grim Reaper, death personified sort of pieces of art. So it's very interesting to see similar themes come up across the world in totally different cultures and times. So these were very interesting to look through. The next one, page 109. This is, no, we're not quite there yet. This was the hedgehog. I thought the hedgehog was kind of cute. I like how the hedgehog picked things up with their spines, even though I'm not sure this happens in real life, but it was fun. I do think the whole beastiary section was added as the second half of this book because there is so much content in terms of illustration and pieces of art they could pick for it, and that's why maybe this was included. I do have a whole book on the medieval bestiary, a book review of that on my channel if this in particular is interesting to you. Next is the fish. I only called this out because I saw this fish and I thought, wait, I have a book on that. And this is another book I currently have out of the library right now on the cultural history of the North Sea, but I think these are the same, it's the same fish. So I thought that was fun. That was the only thing I had to say about that. And finally, close to the back of the book, still in this medieval bestiary section, I liked all the bees and bats. So here's a bat, bees. There's some bats. I thought these were kind of cute and fun. So overall, I think if you are interested in medieval manuscript art, this would be a great book for you to check out. If you are interested in history but aren't sure where to start, this could be a fun way to introduce you to some things in medieval society without taking on a 200, 300, 400, 500 page book on medieval history. And I know those books on medieval history get really dense, so this kind of keeps things high level, interesting, while still giving you some base knowledge on the topic that you might need. I also think this would make a really fun gift if you have someone in your life who likes history. I think this is the kind of book that you'll return to again and again to flip through. So I think buying this as a gift, especially with the holiday season coming up, could also be a fun thing to do. I really enjoyed this book. I think it's fun, and I hope that you check this book out if you find this book enjoyable. Please let me know what you thought of this book if you read it, or what you think of this book based on my review. I love to hear your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.